To se dogodilo 31. marta, bila je nedelja. Djeca su se igrala pred školom i on imao je svoja 3 rana i oni su skupa stanuju u istoj toj zgradi i otišli su pred školu da se igraju i kako su se igrali našli su u travi taj tromblon i oni su ga jednostavno pred sobom ganjali, znaš. I na kraju ga je on uzeo i bacio ga i otkamenje i tad je eksplodirao, jedna je žena poginula, za nje je teže ranjen i još 3 djece, ali to je 3 djece lakše ranjeno.
Okay, my name is Karl Cordner. I'm a sergeant in the British Army in the Regiment of Royal Engineers. I'm currently working for the UN Mine Action Centre in Sarajevo as a mine awareness instructor and technical advisor to the UN. I'll give advice, as well as instructing, I'll give advice on mines and explosives and other related subjects. Now, a lot of people are starting to come to Bosnia, aid agencies and as such, with a view to help this country recover after a long and bitter civil war. Many of the people that do come here as aid workers and things have no real knowledge about mines. Quite a few of them have the wrong attitude and believe that because they don't really know anything about mines, then they're not going to affect them. Unfortunately, this is the wrong attitude to have out here, because very few people can choose when they're going to encounter mines, and when they do encounter mines, it's unlikely they're going to have specialist help available to help them recover from this situation. Now, the term minefield the classic term minefield doesn't exactly hold true in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Out here, a minefield can consist of a single anti-personnel mine that maybe a farmer or someone's laid in their garden to help protect their food stocks, or it could mean an organised concentration of mines laid for a clear tactical purpose. Because of the differences in the way that mines are laid out here, we refer to them as just mines contaminated areas. Right. Even when these mines contaminated areas have been cleared or areas have been certified as safe, we'll never really be sure if they are actually safe, because there will always be the unexploded ordnance and maybe booby traps that were left over from the fighting. And it's my opinion that these will be around for a long time, even after the mines have been lifted out the ground. Just to bring this into context, in northern France, they're still clearing unexploded ordnance that's been left over from the First World War. And this has been carried out full time since the end of the war to present day. Since the cessation of fighting, there have been numerous fatalities and casualties caused by mines. Now, the significance of this is that very, very few of the casualties were actually involved in mine clearance operations. Most of the casualties and fatalities is just people going about their normal business, trying to get their lives back together and recover from the war. Right. We'll talk about the mine strat. Let's look at a few individual mines so we know what we're talking about. I'll do most of this off the top of my head now. Right. Mines come in 2 basic groups. These are anti-personnel and anti-tank mines. Now, first of all, we'll look at a few anti-personnel mines. Now, anti-personnel mines are further divided into 2 groups on their own. These are blast types and fragmentation types. Now, the blast type anti-personnel mines are designed to maliciously wound you or to kill you outright. If you get a mine that will incapacitate a person, then that person will require 2 or 3 other people to lift them off the battlefield, and then they will cause a severe drain on resources. Okay? They'll cause a severe drain on resources as they are rehabilitated back into life. If the mine kills somebody outright, then all you deal with is a dead body. So really, the anti-personnel mines are really designed just to incapacitate people. Now, a blast type anti-personnel mine will have the effects of probably removing a lower limb. They will probably shatter most of the bones in the lower half of your body, disrupt your vital organs. If you're male, you probably lose your testicles. If you're a female, it will cause the corresponding amount of damage. They will severely damage your eyes from the effects of the explosion, if not blind you. Okay, a few examples then. This mine we term as a PMA1. It's plastic and non-detectable mine, pressure activated mine. It contains approximately 200 grams of explosive. Okay. Because it's plastic and it's laid just below the surface of the ground, if it's properly laid in camouflage, then it will be virtually undetectable visually. Because there's a minimum amount of metal in there, there are very few military mine detectors that will pick it up on a deliberate sweep. This would have the effect of probably killing you because of the severe amount of explosives. This mine we class as a PMA2. Okay, it's very similar to the first mine we saw. It's made of plastic, very little metal content, so it's virtually undetectable with military mine detectors. Okay, we've brought this one out just to show that not all the mines can be square. Okay, some can be round. This again is laid just below the surface of the ground. However, the cruciform bit, this top cruciform bit, is normally laid level with the ground surface. Because of this fact, we can usually find them through very gently feeling along the ground, but to counter this threat, it's quite easy for the mine to be laid upside down in its hole, just below the ground surface, so that again it can't be detected using touch. This next mine we look at is again an anti-personnel blast type mine. Again, it contains a minimum of metal, so it's very difficult to detect with mine detectors. Now, this mine is relatively light in weight, but it has quite a large volume, and it has been known, because of this fact, to float. The rubber jacket that the mine has also keeps it waterproof, which aids it, which means that it can be laid in wet ground, swampy ground, or even in shallow rivers and things that people use for fords. Now, the significant thing about this mine is because it's waterproof and it may float, we've had the winter, we've had the spring rains, and a lot of these mines have been washed out from where they've been originally laid, and they're being found quite a way downstream in areas that were thought to be free from mines contamination. There has been an incidence, in fact, of these mines turning up on the coast down on Croatia, where they've been washed out through the rivers and then back up onto beaches and things. Personally, I think it's only a matter of time before these start turning up, maybe on the east coast of Italy and things would have been washed across the sea. Okay, they're three of the most common blast type anti-personnel mines. As I said previously, you also get the fragmentation type anti-personnel mines. Now, these rely on the usually steel jacket that the mine is made out of, fragmenting at the moment of detonation. These fragments become high-speed, razor-sharp pieces of shrapnel, and they're effective over a much larger area. A few examples. This mine we term as a PMR3. Start that again. This mine we term as a PMR2. Okay, anti-personnel fragmentation type mine. The mine is mounted on a wooden stake which has been driven into the ground, so it would sit about this high above the ground level. Inside the serrated steel jacket is a small block of explosives, and the mine is controlled with the fuse on the top. The fuse is usually actuated with a tripwire that comes off the pin here. When the tripwire is walked into or pulled, the pin is pulled out, it releases the fuse, which would set off the main charge inside the steel jacket. The explosive force would result in the steel jacket breaking up along all these serrations, and each of these serrations becoming a high-speed, razor-sharp piece of shrapnel. This mine would cause casualties probably out to about 50 meters. So one of these mines would effectively deny the area of a football field. Okay, the second fragmentation type antipersonnel mine, it's called a PMR3. All it is really is just a more refined version of the PMR2. Okay, same type of metal case, just a slightly different serration pattern, and a slightly more sophisticated fuse. Okay, this type of fuse can take more than one tripwire. Okay, so one mine would cover a much larger area. Okay, this type of mine is in the same category of the previous two antipersonnel fragmentation type, but it's the way this mine is deployed which makes it slightly different. This type of mine is what is termed as a bound-in fragmentation type. This would be laid in the ground about this depth with only the top part of the fuse exposed. Now, when the victim either steps on one of these tines or pulls on a tripwire that may be attached to the ring on the top, what would happen would be a small explosive charge in the base of the mine would detonate, and it would propel the mine out of the ground to a height of about 1 meter. Once the main mine body reached the height of about 1 meter, it would detonate, and it would have the same effect as the previous two mines we've seen. Right, this is another fragmentation type antipersonnel mine. This one is more directional in the way it's deployed. It's a basic copy of the American Claymore, which has been copied by most countries in the world that deploy these sort of mines. All it consists of is an explosive sheet in the back of the mine, and in the front is a plastic sheet, another plastic sheet that's been impregnated with steel ball bearings. When this mine detonates, the plastic sheet with the ball bearings in breaks up, and the ball bearings are propelled forward in an arc of about 60 degrees. This mine would cause casualties probably out to 100, maybe between 100 and 150 meters. We would class this mine as being lethal at about 50 meters.
Sono fotogenico.
Riesci prima? Prima ti dovati.
Molto bravo, bravissimo.
Che bambino? E direi.
Certo che un'occasione più bella di questa direi che è più bella nella tragedia ed è impossibile trovarla.
Borse bolje telo. Tak je do tej samej.
Ti fa bene.
Now the fracture is consolidated or not?
Yes, but
Yes?
he had the bone defect and at the same time the infection.
Okay,
So this was done the popular method
okay.
of putting the bone chip.
The chip spawn.
Yes. At the same time you fill the defect and you stop the infection. Не мекани. Служи дестабилизация. Još jedan. Može počuva poredati. Zaključim, logički. Čekaj, samo Boris malo. Malo se smije sam. Have you noticed this type of stuff?
No, it's the first time.
You haven't seen that before. This was made during the war here.
Ah, okay. For emergency.
Yes. We didn't have enough, so this was made in one work. I'm sure, yeah.
Ima tu taka sumuća vidi.
Evo ga tu je bio, da niko se stara pogleda.
Samo mi da.
Ne, to je fino, ti se zove.
Je emisija.
Pa da, jesi vidio? Svaki dan bi mu skoli. Šta ti je ono, čim se ti Boris povrijedio, šta je ono bilo?
Na neki kontrolu.
Rombo. Koja? Da. Možeš Boris ovdje osjetiti ovo. Osjećaš? Je malo razlike između ovoga i ovoga. Između ovoga recimo i ovoga. There is a difference in the feeling that he cannot flex the fingers. Partly.
And what do you think about the impact of the tendon and the happy?
Yes. Now he has some kind of
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. He's found that from somewhere it's not so bad now. It's not so bad now. I didn't treat him from beginning. I started treating him 10-15 years ago. So I didn't want to remove it at once. I want to make a consultation with plastic surgeons. Because if I move this, I will have opened the ankle tendon. So the plastic surgeon was 2 days before here. And he said, well, let's try with this medicament. Yeah, let's try for some time, then we shall see it doesn't. But it gives, I think it gives the result.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. It gives a new red.
You're right, huh?
So I think we can wait for another
Yeah,
2-3 maybe. Yeah,
the nature is fantastic.
yes. In children it goes perfectly.
Yeah.
I think it will be right in 2-3 weeks. If not, we can remove and make this rotation flap.
When happened this?
Kad je Borisovo, kad je tačno bila povreda?
3. 6.
Onda sada June.
So it's true.
Yes, in June. Contraction of the stump, that will be the problem. That's the last thing.
Yes, I know.
Yes, the open bed osteotomy, extension osteotomy. I have done that to one girl. She had just a little wound. She's 10 years old now. She has got one little wound here in the inguinal area. And on the surgical clinic, when they made debridement, they didn't notice that the femoral nerve was sectioned completely.
Yeah.
They didn't notice. 2-3 months later, they had noticed the hypertrophy of the extended muscles. They noticed that she cannot move the leg up. So, and a few months later, she came here, and that was quite clear that is the femoral nerve section. No, she came to me a year later. But she had also residual contracture, flexion contracture. She couldn't passively, she couldn't actively extend the knee. But the passively, also you couldn't extend the knee. It was like this. So I made her wedge-shaped osteotomy and make transposition of biceps and 17 tendons. Yes, here on patella. Yeah. So she has active like extension now. Yeah, the same thing as Boris. But
To se dogodilo 31. marta, bila je nedjelja. Djeca su se igrala pred školom i on imao je svoja 3 rana i oni su skupa stanuju u istoj toj zgradi i otišli su pred školu da se igraju i kako su se igrali našli su u travi taj tromblon i oni su ga jednostavno pred sobom ganjali, znaš. I na kraju ga je on uzeo i bacio ga i otkamenje. I tad je eksplodirao, jedna je žena poginula, on je za nje teže ranjen i još 3 djece, ali to je 3 djece lakše ranjeno.